numbers that we have right now, I would like to ask you to bear with us that we give it at least 10 minutes so that we can allow more people to join to our webinar. And as soon as it reaches 10 minutes past, we are going to start the program of the day. So during the current time, I urge each and every one of you to use our chat room to introduce yourselves and also to get to interact with each other. So karibuni sana. Good morning, everyone. As I said earlier, my name is Frank Daffa from EABC. So we are just giving each other a bit of time so that we have more people to join before we begin our webinar. And we have agreed that we will begin at 10 past. So immediately it reaches 10 past 10, we are going to start with the program of the day. So kindly bear with us, and we urge you to use our chat room to put in your name and to introduce yourselves so that we can also get to know each other.
Na hapa network zinakuwa kama
Hello, good morning, everyone. So once again, let me take the opportunity to welcome you to our webinar today. My name is Frank Daffa from the East African Business Council, and today we are having a webinar on post-harvest losses reduction, and we'll be having two speakers who will introduce during the course of this webinar. So for the meantime, I once again ask you to use our chat room to introduce yourselves and to get to know each other, and to, if you have any questions, you can also use our chat room to raise the questions. We will shortly display the program of the day, and my colleague Gift is going to share the program so that we take you through what we are going to have today. And soon after that, we are going to do our opening remarks. So as you can see from the program, I'll be your moderator, and we are going to have some opening remarks from our CEO, Mr. John Bosco Kalisa. Unfortunately, our colleagues from GIZ today have another activity, so they're occupied, but they have sent their regards. We are also going to do a photo session, and after that, we are going to start our presentation, which is going to be done by Mr. Zablon Ernest from World Vegetable Center. And after that, we are going to do another presentation by Mr. Eric Kumari from the Kawa Farm. So the presentation is going to take roughly 2.5 hours. Hopefully you're going to bear with us. And after that presentation, we are going to have some few closing interactions where we are going to do a post evaluation of this webinar to ask you how you see the webinar will benefit you as an agri-actor. And after that, we are going to have some closing remarks. So I take the opportunity to welcome you again, and also I will be doing the opening remarks straight away. Apparently, our CEO also is on another responsibility, so he's not going to be able to join us today. But on his behalf, I'll be reading his remarks. So this webinar comes from the initiative or the intervention that EABC has been doing in collaboration with the Business Scouts for Development under the Sequa GmbH. And through this support, we have been able to conduct two studies. One was on the impact of global crisis on food security in EAC, and the other study we did as EABC was on the investment opportunities in selected agricultural value chains. The value chains that were covered under that study were edible oil, wheat, fertilizer, tubers, and leguminous plants. All of these studies and their policy briefs can be accessed through our website. You can go to eabconline.com to view these documents, and you can read them further to know the recommendations and the findings of these studies. So from these studies, we identified two topics which we trained different agri-actors in the region through the Masters Training of Trainers program. And the two topics were, one was on the EAC food export procedures, and the other one was on contract farming. So from these trainings, we did consecutive national trainings in different countries of the partner states. So we did training in South Sudan, in DRC Congo, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, in Burundi, in Kenya, on all the topics of that were covered under the regional program, namely the contract farming and EAC export procedures. And we have been training different agri-actors to be able to enhance their capacity, first of all, to become competitive, but also to mitigate the impact of the global shocks to the food security in the region. So today is a part of the continuation of the webinar series. This is the second webinar out of the 3 webinars that we are planning to conduct. The first webinar was conducted in October 2023, and it was covering the topic of smart agriculture. And today we are doing another one on post-harvest loss reduction. And we will be planning to do the last webinar on sustainable agriculture, which will be done on 25th of January 2024. So hopefully we'll be having some of you attending today also to register for that training, for that webinar. And under these webinars, the main activity that we plan to do actually is to expose you agri-actors to the different innovations, the different debates, the different technologies that are there for you to adopt so that you can be able to mitigate the different impacts of the global shocks, including climate change, to your daily agricultural practices. So I once again take the opportunity to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, and I will also invite you once more to our upcoming webinar, which will be done on January 25th. But also to inform you, EABC is planning to do another high-level e-conference on food security. It will be done online, and it will involve different players from the public and the private sector, and this will be done in December. So hopefully you'll also make time to attend our high-level e-conference. So I want to take the opportunity to welcome you once more and to urge you to participate to our upcoming events. So without any further ado, let me take the opportunity to introduce to you our presenters for today. So the first presenter will be Mr. Zablon. Just to display this brief profile of Mr. Zablon. Is a post-harvest specialist from World Vegetable Center. And, the organization World Vegetable Center is an institution which conducts research, builds networks, and carries out training and promotion activities. The main aim for that is to raise awareness on vegetables and how these vegetables can improve the health and reduce poverty in the world. So vegetables, as according to World Veg, can create different opportunities for jobs. They can be used as a source of income for farmers and landowners, but also they can improve the health of different people using the micronutrients that are available in vegetables. But vegetables can also enhance the learning and working capacities of adults and children through the diets that they are included in. Also, vegetables can improve sustainability of food production practices by diversifying cropping systems. So this center, World Vegetable, focuses on research and developing improved breeds of vegetables so that farmers and different agri-actors can benefit from production, but also reducing post-harvest losses and improving the nutrition value of vegetables. So without any further ado, let me take the opportunity to welcome Mr. Zablon, who is our presenter for today, to post-harvest losses in the vegetable value chain. Karibu Kaka Zablon. Sorry, Zablon, you are muted. If you can unmute your mic.
Apologies. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Well, I greet everybody who is following and listening online. I've been well introduced by Frank. Frank, I think you have said everything. And so I think I should just go back and continue doing other things. Yeah, but I'm here in Rwanda at the moment, speaking to stakeholders on the very issue of post-harvest handling. It's a bit noisy. You'll bear with me. I'm seated somewhere on top of the roof because I've requested for a short break to come and speak to you, also very important people. So when it gets very noisy, you will have some space in your beautiful hearts to pardon me or bear with me. Well, I wouldn't take so long to go around, but I will ask to go straight away to the presentation. Okay. Is it seen there?
No, we cannot see it.
Just a sec.
Yeah. Maybe also in the meantime, you can switch off your video and try to share again.
Mwambie jamaa aje alingane. Samne na kwa message. Yule driver. All the best boss. Nilikuwa washroom wakati nilikwambia. Sawa. Nasikia.
Just a second, eh?
Okay. Zablon, also, if maybe you are getting a challenge, you can share your presentation with us so that we can display also from our end.
Calling.
Is it seen?
For me, I'm seeing a blank screen, but let me also, okay, yeah, now we can see it. Maybe you can put presentation mode so that it becomes, it fills the screen. Yeah, that's okay.
Driver.
You're missing a driver.
You many passport.
He will give you the driver. I think you're interfering with my stuff.
Okay. So
Hello?
Yes, Zablon, you can continue.
Okay, apologies. I'm trying to share myself with the other people who are here. Everybody wants me at the moment. So yeah, thank you, Frank, for introducing me, and thank you everybody for listening online. I will request to take just few hours, 1 or 2, if time allows, to speak to you about this very important topic. We realize, or we have all realized, that post-harvest handling and management is becoming very important at the moment, because for years we've been producing quite a lot and intensifying our production activities, and yet we are giving a blind eye to issues of post-harvest losses. It is so sad that we are told that at least half of what is produced goes to waste. I can imagine every person who produces 10 bags, only 5 reaches the table, and then 5 goes missing along the way. And then as we intensify our production, as we put more efforts and resources to production, we end up losing almost half or sometimes more of what we are producing. It's so sad. But another funny part is that this issue of post-harvest has been given maybe a side eye for quite a while now. It's until recently that this is now becoming more important and coming on board. We can now see it being maybe included in the development goals. I mean, reduction of post-harvest losses. Issues of zero hunger are coming up on board. Yeah, it's because we realize that for a while we've been putting a lot of energy producing what we cannot even safely keep at the end of the day. Statistics are telling us that only 10% of what has been, only 10% from the total budget that is allocated for agriculture-related activity goes to post-harvest research, which in it includes dissemination of technologies, which in it also includes issues of value additions and of the sort. So 10% to cover all that is really a joke, at the point where 50% of what is produced goes missing. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, use this remaining time to take you through, share my views and ideas about this issue of post-harvest handling. I apologize, I will not be able to sit until the end of this webinar because of other responsibilities, but I'll try as much as possible to cover what I can within this available time. So this is a quick overview of what I'm going to speak to you about this morning, a little bit about what post-harvest losses are. But we'll also talk about occurrences of post-harvest. Where do they occur and why do they occur? Because this is very important. If you don't know where these losses are happening, then sometimes it becomes a bigger fight because we do not know exactly where to tackle the issues. But if time allows, I will speak a little bit about what causes these actually losses. And then we'll also try to go a little further to the impact that it is having in our countries, economies, environment. But also, I'll also try to share with you some easy to implement technologies or innovations that can actually help to reduce these post-harvest losses. We know we are less capacitated compared to developed countries, but still there are certain things that we can do within our capacity to make sure that we are reducing these post-harvest losses. In any case, none of us is spared by the losses. It's only that we kind of differ in the areas where all these losses take place. The developed world is having more losses on the aspect of consumption, at the consumption stage, where they are losing so much. And for us in the underdeveloped world or the developing world, it's everywhere between production until it reaches the table. So I'll share a little bit of what we can do in our capacities as East Africans or as Africans and others from the underdeveloped world, some easy to implement technologies that can help us to reduce these losses. But also I'll speak a little bit about the technologies, but then the post-harvest operations, if time allows. Then otherwise that will be the end of the presentation. So bear with me, I'll try to be a little bit quick so that I give you as much as I can. If anything arises after and very burning, I'll try to respond. But if not, then I'll probably I or Frank will share my details for follow-up and communication later afterwards. See my two pictures down there, something on losses and something on waste. Loss is what is happening between production or after harvesting, but also until it reaches the final consumer. We can see from the picture on the left, a lot of tomatoes are being dumped, being discarded, thrown away for probably various reasons. But on the right, there's also a picture of someone who is dumping the food in the bin. I'm looking at a piece of an apple being dumped in the bin. For some people, that is still edible and may want to eat it. But for the person who is dumping has, of course, their own reason as why they are doing it. So the difference is, as we lose so much in the areas between production and the consumption, the developed world is losing more after it has reached the consumption stage. So what do we talk about? What do we say? What do we think? What comes in our mind when we talk about post-harvest losses? Of course, there are a lot of theories, there are a lot of discussions, there are a lot of understandings about actually what post-harvest losses are. But we all agree at the end of the day, after having all these differences, that post-harvest losses are actually quantitative, but also qualitative reductions in the food after it has been harvested. We lose in quantities in the sense that we harvest quite a lot, but in the end, some of it goes missing along the way, and only a fraction of it reaches the table. But we also talk about quality, because sometimes you have a very well and good quality harvested fruit and vegetable or horticulture product, but along the way it is compromised, and so it loses its desired qualities. But also this includes availability. It needs to be available. If it is lost, then it's unavailable. It includes the edibility. If you have your food and you cannot eat anymore because of what happened along the way, then that's a loss. But also wholesomeness, but also the quality of food. So, but also we realize that post-harvest losses don't only happen at particular stages. Sometimes what happens at one section of the production or the value chain has an effect to what happens in the later stages or the later nodes of the value chain. So it is systemic, but it is irregular. It changes with the change. Post-harvest losses change with the places. One place may record these losses, the other place may record a different level of losses. One crop may report this quantity or this level of losses, the other crop reports a different loss level of losses. But also we realize there are certain foods that with the qualities can be eaten from one point, but are not really edible at another point. So it's really irregular, and sometimes it's difficult for us, the post-harvest specialists and managers, to know exactly what level of post-harvest losses we deal in. We all agree at the end of the day losses are high, and a lot has to be done so that we really reduce these losses. But we also realize, or we also acknowledge as post-harvest specialists and managers and value chain actors, that it's a bit difficult to take losses to really zero level. But at least we should have some threshold, some limited level that can easily be accepted, of course, with a pinch of salt that, okay, maybe from this level we've done quite a lot. So post-harvest losses are also genetic. They're also related to the genetic properties of the different fruits and vegetables, and of course the other crops. But also agronomic activities. Whatever we do during the production stage has an effect to the quality of the produce that will be harvested thereafter. So anything we do during production also has a hand to play to the final product that will be harvesting. So we also encourage that post-harvest losses should not only be tackled at the harvesting and after harvesting stage, but a lot has to be done from the quality of the seeds we are using, seeds and seedlings we are using, but also the agronomic activities that are involved during the production stage. But also after we have harvested, during the handling phase, where we East Africans are affected much more with the way in which we handle these products. So we say it occurs after harvesting. Post-harvest losses can also be influenced by the pre-harvest conditions you already talked about. And so I already talked about what losses are. So waste there refers to foods or food that is still fit for consumption, but consciously or intentionally is discarded at the consumer's level. Probably someone has eaten so much, doesn't want to put more food in his mouth, that will be discarded. Or someone feels he has lost taste for a particular type of food, will be discarded, though it could be eaten by somebody else. Or someone just doesn't want to eat a particular kind of food. So that is it. So where does post-harvest losses occur? As I said before, it happens or it occurs at all stages production. Yeah, but because we are discussing about post-harvest, I will zero in about on this area, particularly after the fruits and vegetables have been harvested. So it happens during harvesting and handling of these products. Yeah, sometimes we harvest good quality fruits and vegetables, but then it is left in the field because it can't be transported, or we have lost a market for that. And so it is left in the field. Sometimes it is just plowed back in the field. But also, as we harvest, sometimes we damage the crops, and so we make it of less quality and can't reach the table. It also happens during the transportation and the distribution phase, because we know the road systems we are having, the infrastructure we have, the facilities that we use to transport our fruits and vegetables have a hand to play in the spoiling, bruising, compressing, and other forms of damages to our fruits and vegetables. But also during storage, we lose quite a lot because of pests and diseases, issues of unfavorable temperatures. But also know every time we store produce for a long time, naturally it loses its original qualities. But also during sorting and grading, because we want to make sure that we are having what is desired, we want to have what we want to remove what is not of the good quality. During the activities of sorting and grading, we also we lose quite a lot there. But also during the processing, we lose something. During that is the original processing, but also the second processing, we also lose quite a lot. But also during product evaluation and quality control, this doesn't pass the quality that is desired, so it is called back or it is discarded. That is also a loss to someone who produced. During the packaging, because of the way in which we package, packaging system, packaging materials also expose us to more losses. But also during the marketing, we also lose something. But as I said before, during the consumption, a lot is also wasted, and this is particularly true for the developed world. So actually, what causes these losses? As I said, there are deteriorations. Fresh products continue to live even after they have been separated from their parent crop. They still breathe, they still lose moisture, they still age, and so forth. So because of that alone, leads to losses, but also metabolic actions that continue taking places. But there are also agents that also contribute or play part to these post-harvest losses. We know there are issues of ethylene gas. This is a naturally produced gas with all good intentions to allow the fruit or vegetable be ushered to the next stages of the life cycle. I was giving an analog yesterday to the people I was training about post-harvest losses. And I was telling them, take an example of a fruit that has just fallen from maybe an avocado that has fallen from the mother avocado tree. I mean, an avocado doesn't have a way in which it can stretch its hand and pick back the avocado and attach it back to the mother plant. But actually tell the avocado fruit that I'm sorry, I can't pick you back to your original attached place. But the only thing I can do now is to allow you produce the ethylene gas so that the seed in you is able to come out at the end of the day, germinate, and continue our next chapter of life. So for the plants anyway, this ethylene gas is good, but for us, the consumers and the handlers of this food, it's a problem because it speeds up the deterioration rate. Yeah, I guess that was so noisy, so I had to pause a little bit. But of course, yes, for us as in East Africa, we can't make so much with this ethylene gas now. But in the developed world, they have a way now of tapping this gas, and then they have controlled ripening. So they are able to usher or to release this gas to the fruits and vegetables so that they ripen at their times of choice and preference. Yeah, so ethylene gas affects a particular type of crops. Some of them are more affected, and of course others are less affected. But also we also have some enzymes that are produced from the fruits and vegetables, and of course other crops that also kind of contribute to the losses. So these are colored pigments, anthocyanins. It's a bit a technical word, and so I wouldn't want to deal so much with this. But we also know something like oxidation browning. If you have had an experience with maybe biting probably an apple fruit, after a while you realize that it is browning. It turns from the original peachy, creamish or white color to some kind of brownish color. So this also, of course, causes losses because someone may not want to consume that fruit after a while. But yeah, it also happens with Irish potatoes. It also happens with avocados. After you've cut avocados and left it in the open for a while, you should see it turning color. If you have also have some time consuming or preparing eggplants, you should have seen this also happening. So also living organisms have a way or have play a part in leading to post-harvest losses. We know our activities, and I've already spoken a little about it, but because we are also we are talking about issues of improper tools that are being used for transportation, but also the poor transportation systems. If you can see the picture on the right, I don't think the fruits and vegetables there will make to their final destination when they are still in very good condition. But microbial contaminations, we know this also happens during production, handling, but more so during storage. But there are also some damages which are caused by animals, of course, insects, and so forth. That is not enough, but we also know the environmental conditions that also play part or cause these post-harvest losses. We know temperatures are not very friendly to fruits and vegetables, but we also know that high temperatures, of course, high and low temperatures all have an effect to the quality of fruits and vegetables. It just depends on the product in question. It leads to deterioration, and of course the natural occurring pigment like the anthocyanins, which I've talked about, which are also very much affected by the temperatures. Low temperatures cause ice burns. We know if you put your vegetables in very low temperatures, probably in your fridge, in the end it's always going to be damaged. But there are issues of drought which also contribute to post-harvest losses. I've given there an example of reduction in sugar levels and quantities in the sugar canes because of prolonged drought. Makes crops force untimely maturity or untimely ripening, because the mother crop realizes that it doesn't stand so many chances of continuing sticking around, but rather accept the fruits and particularly the fruits and maybe some vegetables to ripen earlier than it should have been, so that it is ushered to the next levels of the life cycles. But we also know that crops fail to grow and leaves become more fibrous. For example, the African nightshade, if it is very dry, then you do not have very quality African nightshade and other leafy vegetables, which in the end, for people who do some bit of sorting and pre-sorting and peeling off the skins and the outside and some bad leaves and some flowers, you have all this discarded at the end of the day. But crops wilt, of course, more quickly if temperatures high, but also if it is very dry. Yeah. So what are the effects? I mean, after talking about what causes the post-harvest losses, others are within our mandates, others are within our control, but also there are others which are really within or beyond our control. And that's why we said, or we think, or we agree as post-harvest managers and specialists that we probably need to have a certain level of acceptance that, yes, we cannot easily control probably for example, oxidation browning, but at least we can accept a certain level, for example. Yeah, but as research continues and people put more resources in trying to reduce post-harvest losses, we know now there are also efforts and energies and technologies that have been developed that can also reduce this post-harvest drowning. But yeah, discussing about the effects of post-harvest losses, we know that at least now, 1/3 of the food that is produced globally is lost because of post-harvest losses. 1/3. Yeah, you'll pardon me again. So 1/3, 37% of the food that is produced is lost because of post-harvest losses. 40 to 50% of fruits and vegetables is also lost because of post-harvest losses. 40 and 50%. Of course, about 20% of this comes from the cereals, but you can imagine how much we are losing from fruits and vegetables. Yeah. Losses are estimated to be equivalent to the annual energy equivalents of 48 million people. 48 million people. This is how devastating post-harvest losses are. By 2017, yeah, the number of food insecure persons globally rose to 821 million people. What is the cause? Post-harvest losses. Over 80 million people went hungry in 2021. 800 people. What is the reason? Post-harvest losses. Yeah, and I said before, post-harvest losses don't spare anybody. In the developed world and in the underdeveloped world, we are all at one point humbled by these losses. 38% and most are fruits and vegetables in the developed world. This is America we are talking about, 38%. Yeah. Maybe at some point I will stop apologizing. It is so noisy here. People are having fun with their motorbikes. Yeah, but we also told everyone in 10 Americans or 1 in the 10 developed world, people are food insecure. For us in East Africa and in many African countries, every 5 of 10 of us is food insecure. Yeah. Let's come back home. Sub-Saharan African, yeah, 37% is lost. Yeah. In the last decade, for example, over the last decade, the most amount of food lost in sub-Saharan Africa exceeds what the region has been receiving as food aid. We are receiving less food aid than what we are actually losing. How we wish we were able to keep what we are producing. Imagine, with all the challenges of food insecurities we are having, the food support we are having from other parts of the world, we are taking only 10% of what we've lost. Yeah. 140 million people in Africa face acute food insecurity. These are not my statistics. They're outside there. Go read. This is what I read from the East African publication very recently. They are telling us the annual range cereals goes to 30%, 50% for roots and tubers, and 70% in fruits and vegetables. This is how serious post-harvest losses are. I said before, we are putting a lot of energy in production, a lot of resources in production, and other related activities. But how much are we putting on post-harvest losses and efforts and energies and technologies that will help us to reduce post-harvest losses, if at the end 70% of what we are producing goes missing from the table? Yeah. What does this mean to the agronomic production activities? We are saying increased population and record high losses mean that there's limited quality and quantity of food. The population is increasing. Yeah, we are looking at 9.1 billion people around 2030. And so we are supposed to increase our food production to about 70%. Those are statistics that we are having. But how then are we going to be safe if we keep on losing, according to the East Africans, for example, up to even 70%? I have a picture for you there of an old man who is still struggling to produce, sweating in the hot sunny day, just to make sure that we increase our production. Yeah. Dafa, you talked about issues of climate and the environment. Yeah, land, water, and energy used for production is lost and also wasted with the food. You can imagine the land that we use and produce that food. At the end of the day, the food is lost. The water that we use to produce that food, with all the scarcity we are having and challenges with enough water for consumption and other agricultural activities, much of it is lost or wastage. Yeah, 15% of the total fertilizer that is used to produce these vegetables goes also missing. 15% of the fertilizers goes missing. Yeah, this amount is sufficient to produce above 150 million acres of corn, or at least 75 million acres of vegetables. 75 million acres of vegetables. So the fertilizer that should have been used to produce 75 million acres of vegetables goes missing because of what? Post-harvest losses. Food losses account to 25% of the total water used in production. These are not my statistics. Research is outside there. Yeah. But we are saying, if this water is treated, we can be able to support 1.8 million people who live without safe drinking water, particularly for us in sub-Saharan Africa. I know the time is a bit moving. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me speed up. I will just be highlighting a few issues. And then, as I said before, we'll try to find some time to catch up later. Yeah. This is some more talk about losses, particularly in my beautiful country, Tanzania. And this is after we've interacted with the people in the markets to see also how they are handling these issues of food loss and waste. But we can also realize or accept that it's not only what is happening in the production and value addition stages and other related stages, but up to the business stage that is in the market. So these are a little more statistics about how dangerous or how detrimental post-harvest losses are. You will have these slides shared. You'll have more time to go through this. I'm trying to rush because of time. Yeah. So this is of population and the environment degradation, as I've talked about. Of course, there are also other effects, issues of malnutrition, which are also becoming more rampant. And in East Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa particularly, we are never spared with the issues of malnutrition. But we also know losses increase also have a part to play in the reduction of our incomes. If you have produced and expect to sell, and then you are not able to sell all of it, or you are able to sell at a reduced price, in the end you will have reduced your income as a person. But also, if these products should have been exported, that also has a reduction return from the country, but also contributes to the rural-urban migration. We know that we realize that particularly one of the reasons why people are moving faster from the villages to the urban areas is because they realize that they are making very little from agriculture production, because they cannot be able to have everything that is produced reaching the market. It also causes some economic redundancy. Of course, we are saying that for every $1 spent to improve yield, 0.19 is lost due to inadequate post-harvest practices. So post-harvest management then it's very important because of the reasons that I've quickly highlighted. It's very important because and we know this involves processes and activities after harvesting. It encompasses all activities from production sites to all the way up to the consumer's table. So when you talk about post-harvest management, we are talking about every activity along the value chains after production until it reaches the table. Of course, it includes some handling activities like cooling, of course, sorting and grading, packaging, processing, and so forth. Yeah, we do this, or we know this, because I've already said before that soon after the crop has been harvested or separated from the mother plant, it begins deteriorating, or it begins losing quality for many reasons that some have already spoken about. Why we do, or why we think, or why we talk about post-harvest losses is because then we want to increase the shelf life, but not only increase the shelf life, we want to make sure that the quality of the fruit and vegetable is maintained. Post-harvest losses, post-harvest management or post-harvest handling has a way to, has a hand to the quality of the final product. And post-harvest, we say we cannot improve the quality after it has been harvested, but actually what we can do is to make sure that we maintain the quality. So if we harvested a good quality fruit or vegetable, we then need to handle it in a proper way so that the quality is maintained. But if we harvested a poor quality one, what we can do is probably maintain the poor quality level that we found the fruit or vegetable, but hardly can we maintain. So after all this, what is the way forward? What we do? We know it's a challenge. I've already spoken about the challenges that post-harvest losses are bringing to us as individuals, but to the economies around particularly sub-Saharan Africa. What do we do? What is the way out? I want to discuss with us a few of the simple to implement technologies or techniques that we could be able to easily implement, share with our people. I know there are technical people listening or following up online. This is something that we can easily use within our available resources. Yeah, we know that for the developed world, they have got more resources, or they have deployed more resources to handle issues of quality and of course control of post-harvest losses. Okay. At local level, what do we do as an individuals, as farmers? I don't know if we have farmers listening online. What do we do? Yeah. Can we sell this? Can we reduce the time at which we are handling these products? The longer we handle these products, the more chances we have to be attacked or to be affected by post-harvest losses. As a farmer, can we try to find, or can we have a little bit of a purposeful production system? Yeah, can we stop producing rampantly, haphazardly, without being well informed? Can we engage ourselves in some contract farming? Because then you are assured as soon as you produce your crops, you know where to take. You have some market assurance. Can you properly utilize the inputs that you're having? I said before, whatever we do during the production phase has an effect to play to the quality of the fruits and vegetables after harvesting. Can we plant varieties? Can we use varieties that are a bit more resistant to fruits? I mean, to the existing challenges. Yeah, we at World Veg are not only tackling it from the post-harvest level, but it begins from the seeds. Should we have varieties that are resistant to pests and diseases? Can we have varieties that are viable with the current climatic conditions? Yeah. Can we safely handle these fruits and vegetables after we have harvested? These are things that we can do at the farm gate or at the farmer's level. But of course, at the micro level, what can we do? Can we build capacity of our people? Our people are less informed about issues of post-harvest losses. They know that it's happening. They know because it affects them. But what do they do? How do they handle? How do they tackle it? Of course, we're not only talking about farmers here, but everybody else that is involved in the value chain. Can we do more quality and purpose research to strengthen our issues of post-harvest losses? Can we establish good marketing systems? Yeah, we know the challenges of our marketing system. Actually, we also know the quality of our markets that we use to market our fruits and vegetables. Not very good. Talking about infrastructure here, we all come from East African countries. We know the conditions of our roads. We know the conditions of our market, yeah, which are not all friendly to our fruits and vegetables. Can we have supportive policies? Frank, you talked about policies. How are our policies supportive enough to make sure that we reduce post-harvest losses? Yeah. So much is being talked about production and other related activities, very little on policies. Yeah, just to take a deep dive of some simple to implement or to use technologies that will help to reduce post-harvest losses. My slide is populated with easy, affordable gadgets that can help us to be able to assess the quality of our fruits and vegetables. But of course, you are saying, can we observe maturity indices when you are harvesting? Can we tell our people to harvest at the correct time? Yeah. Maturity is determined by days since planted. flowering, size, shape, color, aroma, weight, etc. Not just harvesting for the sake of harvesting. Yeah. We say the maturity stage at harvest is the second most important factor after the genotype that influences flavor. Yeah. After the genotype, it is the maturity stage. If you harvest when it is not of the correct maturity level, then make sure you are having a compromised flavor. It is the most important factor that determines the final quality of the product, determines the final size, determines the final weight, determines the final color, many more. Fruits and vegetables harvested at the wrong maturity stage have poor quality that are not desired and end up being wasted. Maturity indices, just knowing when to harvest, just knowing what to harvest, just knowing what size to harvest, just knowing what shape to harvest, just knowing what color to harvest. Fruit picked at less than maturity stages are subject to greater shriveling, losing of moisture, wilting, of course, mechanical damages. If you harvest when it is not fully matured, rest assured it is wilting, it is shriveling, and it's going to be easily damaged by mechanical activities. Overripe fruits are likely to become soft and mealy in texture soon after it has been harvested. So this is simple, just knowing what to harvest and when to harvest. Yeah, that's one. Secondly, good harvesting techniques. Knowing that it's the right time to harvest is not enough. How are you harvesting your fruits and vegetables? Proper harvesting techniques decide the quality as well as the storage life of the fruit and vegetable. Harvesting methods depend on the crop type. Yeah? How is it grown, the area, and the resources available. This will help to guide you on what method you should use to harvest your fruits and vegetables. As you harvest, for example, tomatoes, can you remove the pedicels, the woody stems? Can you trim the fruit and vegetables after you harvested? Because all this may end up damaging the produce. These are simple. We are saying harvest your produce gently to minimize damage. Don't go to your vine, cucumber vine, and quickly or forcefully pull out your cucumber fruit or your pumpkin fruit because you are damaging the vine. Crops destined to storage should be as free as possible from skin damages, from breezes, from rots, from decay, and other deteriorations. These are easy to use. Yeah, we have said it again. Refrain from damage. Do everything possible to make sure that you reduce the damages. Yeah, these ideas of stoning down fruits in Tanzania, in my village particularly, we go and stone down the mangoes. Yeah, we shake down the avocado trees. All this is not a safe handling method. Yeah, I think we'll have more time. When you have these slides, you'll have more time to go through it. I'm trying to rush. Yeah, we are saying use proper handling tools when harvesting. Yeah, if you're harvesting by hand, wear some cotton gloves at least. Be a little bit gentle to the fruits and vegetables. Yeah, knives, shears, and clippers that we are using to harvest the fruits and vegetables should be of the correct quality. Yeah, let's use harvesting bags and fruit pickers. You should be able to see a picture on your bottom right. That is what we call a fruit picker. Just something that is simple, easy to use. I mean, I'm discussing easy to use technologies, innovations, suggestions that can play a big part in reducing these post-harvest losses. So the picture you are seeing at the bottom right is a hand picker. It is attached to a stick or a metal rod. So you stretch it up to pick the fruit instead of just turning the fruit down or shaking the mother tree so that the fruits fall down. We are saying use harvest bags. For example, the second picture in the middle, in your right, yeah. If you are using machines, can you have machines that are properly trained so that they're able to pick the correct qualities that you desire? Yeah. Sometimes it's important to do some field packing. Yeah. Can we have some field bins within within some distances in the gardens? Yeah, so that we are able to keep these fruits and vegetables at least for a temporary basis. But you can also use some small carts or some small mobile picking stations. Yeah. Another one is pre-cooling. This is also easy that we can use or we can share with our people. That has a big effect to the quality of the fruits and vegetables. Yeah. What is pre-cooling? Rapid removal of heat from freshly harvested fruits and vegetables. It is known that a fruit while in the field, it is actually hotter, or a vegetable that is in the field has higher temperature than the surrounding. So every time we harvest this fruit, we have to make sure that we quickly cool this produce so that we reduce production. I mean, we reduce the deterioration level because of issues of like ethylene, which I talked about earlier. Yeah. Horticulture products, when harvested at the field conditions, contain field heat. I've talked about this. The rate of deterioration increases exponentially until temperatures are brought to the optimum level. We harvest, and as soon as we harvest, the rate of deterioration increases. Yeah. So unless we take this produce, I mean these temperatures to the optimum level, the quicker the better, the level of deterioration increases. And so what do? Can we harvest at night or the early mornings if we do not have facilities and equipment that will help us to quickly reduce these temperatures? Yeah. That is just an example I've given there on the latent floor. This is particular for crops like purples. You'll read this. I'll share these slides with you. Yeah, but we also know the more the surface area, the more the produce will lose. The more the produce will, the faster the produce will lose heat, but also the faster it will what? It will lose moisture. Pre-cooling can be done simply by putting easy to implement, I mean, easy to handle facilities. We can do it under the shade. Yeah, we can do it under the big trees. We can construct temporary structures. Yeah, but we can also use easy to find and less cheap equipment or materials. Down there is a picture of just a pre-cooling unit that is constructed by just a simple colored net. But more so, the two pictures there, we say other ways of pre-cooling, including room cooling, hydro cooling, vacuum cooling, ice cooling, and so forth. I think this is more done with the people who have more resources. But what I shared earlier is something that we can easily do within our capacities. So sorting and grading is another one. Yeah. Sorting and grading are capable of single-handedly save millions of tons of food just by sorting and grading. Just removing the good from the bad. we will save millions of tons of food. Yeah, there's a Swahili saying, samaki moja akioza wanaoza wote. Let me just give you an example. I mean, a detailed illustration about, for example, ethylene gas and what it does. When one fruit begins producing ethylene gas because it has probably been mechanically damaged, it catalyzes or it influences all other fruits and vegetables to produce the ethylene gas. What is the effect? Increased rate of deterioration. So let's do some sorting and grading. Let us not just put the good and the bad. Can we separate? This is easy. Fruits and vegetables can be graded according to the weight size. This is what we can do. Yeah. Yeah. Below, I'm sharing some pictures of some easy grading tools, grading equipment that we can use. Can we just use simple gadgets like those ones, just some rings to be able to check the size, to be able to check the weight, to be able to check the shapes. Of course, you have good reasons for doing sorting and grading. We know it increases the market prices. Yeah. When you have a display of quality, good quality fruits and vegetables, you know that you're going to sell it at a better price and have a premium. It increases marketability. Yeah, people want to buy from you because you are selling a better quality produce. But of course, it also facilitates marketing. Yeah. So we did a sorting and grading exercise in Kilimanjaro. Mbuyuni market, for people who are in Tanzania could be knowing this. Yeah. And there is a picture there of a gentleman standing behind, actually squatting behind some crates of tomatoes. And so we had our grades from 1 to 5. You can see, as we looked for the quality, something that is not bruised, something that is not punctured, something that is not compressed. From the whole crate, the whole wooden crate that is in front of the gentleman, only one was safe from bruises. Only one was safe from compression. Only one was safe from tear. Yeah, that's how serious it is. Because why? The packaging material that is being used. Let me go faster. I've talked about packaging. Packaging of fresh fruits and vegetables is one of the most important steps. We know that. To accommodate diverse needs of wholesalers, consumers, and buyers, and the rest, there's no one particular specific type of packaging. What do? You look at what is at your disposal. Yeah, there are so many. What do you have? What crop are you talking about? What is your customer choice and preferences? All this will guide you to what particular type of packaging you are using. But then you are saying, can you make sure that at least you are having packaging that will accommodate diverse needs, that it is resource consuming? It is a resource consuming activity and hence should be handled carefully. Packaging is not easy. Packaging is not cheap either. It's a resource consuming activity, and so it should be handled carefully. Packaging should protect. You see the picture on the right. This is what we are using in Tanzania. I know it's also happening in other East African countries. The wooden crates. Studies from World Veg are showing that wooden crates record damages up to 56% just because of the packaging material we are using. Yeah, packaging should be cost effective. Let us not think of very expensive packaging materials, because this in the end will increase the cost of packaging and the final cost of the produce, which will not be very supportive. And in the end, what? This activity will be discarded or it will be ignored. We stick to our traditional methods. Then what? Post-harvest losses will always keep on haunting us. Packaging should be durable. Yeah, should contain at least the produce inside. It should be attractive and appeal. I mean, this is what you'll expect from packaging. Sorry, I can't take so much time from that. But of course, transportation. Yeah, what should you do, or what do you do? Yeah, avoid rough handling. This one you can do during loading and unloading. This one you can do, I'm sure. Yeah, prevent vibration and compression damage. You're transporting your bananas from Kilimanjaro to Dar es Salaam. Can you at least have some cushion at the bottom? Can we put some grass at the bottom? This is not very hard to do. Yeah. For people who have better facilities or have more resources, you can even choose the type of truck you want to use to transport your vegetables and fruits, of course, to the markets. Yeah. Make sure vehicles are adequately ventilated if you're transporting. Because why? You don't want to allow more heat buildup during transportation. Ensure the vehicle is free from food safety hazards such as spilled chemicals. I don't know if we even do this as we transport our fruits and vegetables. We care less, actually. Ensure vehicles are well insulated. Yeah, but we do it. We are the people who are using public transport. We cannot even decide on the type of transport we are using. If it's your hired vehicle, probably you have more say. But if you are using a public transport system, then you can't have much to say on this. Yeah. Where applicable, pre-cooled refrigerated vehicles unload only pre-cooled produce. Yeah. For those who are transporting fruits and vegetables in customized transport system and vehicles. Yeah. But if you also use that, we will also encourage you to turn off the ACs. Of course, this is detailed for people who are using improved transportation system. Do not block the airflows or anywhere else in the loading. If you are using public transport, for example, can you have even windows opened? Yeah. Okay, load produce away from the side. These are additionals, of course, recommendations during transportation. I have a picture for you there. Two pictures comparing what is happening in the developed world and what is happening to underdeveloped world. Yeah. How is our transport system? How are we mixing different type of products during transportation? How are those tomatoes sitting safely under the big sacks on top of baskets? It's a problem. Yeah. Well, we also need to do some bit of processing and value addition, because we know by this we are able to store produce for a longer period of time. We are able to use better facilities to make sure that the quality is maintained. Yeah. So this is a bit of processing which I did here, or which I'm sharing here. I don't know if it's of interest to anybody about processing, but yeah, this is solar drying. Just using the solar dryers, we are able to dry the fruits and vegetables, be able to keep them safer for a longer period of time, be able to consume even at the time of scarcity to make sure that we are having more food security, but also improving our health conditions. Yeah, we've talked about issues of cooling and storage. A number of storage technologies, yeah, have been developed. I'm sharing with you some easy to implement or cheap or relatively cheap technologies that we could try in our areas, in our localities, to reduce post-harvest losses. Yeah. The first picture there is a zero energy cooling chamber Yeah, this works on evaporative cooling. How does it work? It is able to reduce the temperatures up to 10 degrees lower than ambient. And we know for every 10%, for every 10 degrees reduction in temperature, we are able to double the shelf life of the fruit and vegetable. Double the shelf life. So if I have my amaranth, mchicha, which will sit in the ambient for maybe 1 or 2 days, by putting in the zero energy cooling chamber like that one, you are able to keep it for 2 days. If it was able to sit in the ambient for 5 days, then it will sit in the cold room, in the chamber for 10 days. So you can imagine within 10 days of keeping your fruits safe and vegetables, 10 days of comfortably waiting for better market prices, 10 days of waiting for a good transport pickup. This can be done using locally available materials, just bricks and river sand. Yeah, this is another one, the misting chamber. Just a simple tunnel of net constructed. Above there is fitted with some emitters that produces some mist that goes on the fruits and vegetables. These are easy, very easy to implement, less technical, can be done by anybody, easier to maintain, easier to construct, and even relatively cheap. That is another one. A low energy cooling chamber. Yeah, we are talking about cold rooms. Cold rooms are good, but can we afford cold rooms? And our small scale producers and farmers outside there afford cold rooms? That is a challenge. But facilities like this one here, which if you get a chance to come to the World Vegetable Center, you'll be able to see this. Yeah, it is also using the evaporative cooling effect in its operation, and we're able to store even half a ton of fruits and vegetables. Of fruits. Yeah. So we are saying storage system used fruits and vegetables depend upon the nature, of course, the type of the commodity, and the storage period intended. If you are storing for the short period of time, there are certain storage facilities or systems you'll use. But if you are storing for a longer period of time, you need to check on what facilities and systems you are using to store the fruits and vegetables. It is important to monitor the hygiene. Make sure that you do not have foreign bodies. Nobody wants to take probably salad from you, and they find some staples and some pins inside there. Yeah, so let's make sure that our storage facilities do not have foreign bodies. Yeah, let us monitor the temperatures. It's one thing to store, but is the temperature right? Yeah, if the temperature is not right, then storage becomes less helpful. Yeah, what is the level of the moisture content? Yeah, is the moisture content favorable for the particular fruit and vegetable you're storing? Yeah, for how long are you storing the vegetables? So all this should be taken into accountability. So thank you for quickly rushing you through. I know I wasn't so detailed, but in the interest of time, this is what I've been able to share. Maybe I can just take a question or two before I leave you to continue having a fruitful discussion, and also allow my co-presenter to also take it up from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very detailed presentation. But different options you are giving, and some of them I think are very economical, just to change our behavior and how to handle some of these products like the fruits and vegetables. So I don't know, do we have anybody who has a burning question? You can raise your hand, and we can take questions for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll allow the other presenter to come in. So anybody with a question, you can raise your hand, and we'll give you the microphone.
I think I don't have any question, Frank.
Yes, I am. It seems you made a very good presentation.
I hope I didn't bore everybody, or I didn't make anybody understand anything from what I said. I should have spoken in Swahili, the East African language. Probably we would have understood each other very well. Sometimes talking in the local way has a way in driving the points home better than if you speak in the foreign language. So yeah, at least maybe one question. If not, then we will allow the next presenter, and I will have this time to rejoin the rest of the group that is waiting for me to also speak to them about these particular issues of post-harvest losses and management.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Elvis, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was actually asking Mr. Zablon to share his contact with me kindly.
Okay, okay. We'll share his, yeah, or maybe Zablon, you can put your contacts on the chat so that people can be able to get in touch with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So in the meantime, while we are waiting for the next presenter, and if we don't have any other questions, we will share a very brief video. Is it about 10 minutes? On one of the solutions that was used by Vegetable Center to show that we can have a very simple technology to do cooling and to prolong the life of vegetables and fruits. So my colleague Gift is going to share that video, and immediately after that, we are going to go straight to the presentation from our colleague, the next presenter.
au tunalita chemba baridi kwa ajili ya kuhifadhia mboga za majani. Kwa nini natumia hili friji la asili? Friji la asili kupooza na kutoa unyevunyevu kwenye mboga zetu za majani. Kiweka kwenye jua kali zinasinyaa, zinapoteza maji, zinapoteza uzito. Lakini zikiwa kwenye unyevunyevu zinakuwa zinaongeza uzito na zinakuwa ziko fresh kabisa. Hii teknolojia ya friji la asili ni gharama zake ni bei nafuu na ni rahisi kuitengeneza. Ni teknolojia rahisi kwa ajili ya kuhifadhia mboga za majani kwa sehemu ambazo hazina umeme. Ni nzuri sana kwa kulima na wafanya biashara.
Hii friji inanisaidia hasa sana yani kuuza, yani kufanya biashara. Nafanya biashara ya kuuza mboga zangu hapa na haziharibiki kwa ule muda kama katule nikiziweka kwenye vichanja. Pesa niliyokuwa nikipata kipindi ile kwenye kuuza bila kutumia hii friji. Kwa hivyo sasa hivi ni friji ambaye mboga zikibaki zinakaa pale naendelea kuuza mara kwa mara bila kuharibika. ndio faida yake tu.
Leo tutajifunza jinsi ya kutengeneza hili friji la asili. Tuanze kazi sasa. Friji la asili linahitaji mambo yafuatayo: matofali ya kuchoma 800. Haya ni rahisi, yanapatikana katika maeneo yetu. Tunahitaji pia mchanga ule wa kujengea au ule unaopatikana kwenye mto, mkokoteni miwili. Lakini pia tunahitaji beleshi kwa ajili ya kuchotea mchanga, makreti 6 ya plastiki au sanduku za plastiki, ndoo kwa ajili ya kubebea mchanga, na pia tunahitaji kani, reki kwa ajili ya kutengeneza usawa kwenye ardhi. Ili friji la asili, kabla ya kuanza kulijenga, unamwagilia yale matofali 800 yanako kabisa yameloa kabla ya kuanza kulijenga. Hii itakuashia kazi wakati wa kujenga, utakuwa tena una kazi ya kulimwagilia kila wakati. Pale unapokuwa umeshapata eneo lako kwa ajili ya kujengea ile friji la asili, hakikisha eneo lako halina mawe au takataka yoyote. Chukua reki kwa ajili ya kuondoa takataka ambazo zitakuwa kwenye eneo lako. Step ya pili, tumeweka mchanga, tunaendelea kutengeneza level ili isije ikaanguka. Sambaza mchanga wako kwa kutumia reki kama inavyoonekana kwenye picha. Hatua ya 3 ni kuweka sasa ukubwa wa hili friji la asili. Kwa nitapanga makreti 3 kama hivi. Nitatumia mkono wangu kupima kreti na kreti, isigusane kabisa, na hivyo hivyo kwa kreti linalofuatia. Hatua ya 4, tunapima tena mkono wangu tena, napima hapa kwenye mwanzo wa kreti, afu ndo tunaweka tofali hapa. Mwisho kile kidole chako cha mwisho ndo unaweka tofali hapa. Hatua ya kwanza, lazima kwanza upime vidole vyako 4, uweke namna hii kwenye kona ya kreti. Mwisho kidole chako cha mwisho ndo unaweka tofali. Angalizo, wakati ukiwa unatengeneza ile friji la asili, hakikisha matofali yako level. Kama hili hapa tutaweza kuweka chini. Sinki ukiwa na tofali kama hili, friji litakuwa upande. Kwa hiyo tunatafuta tofali ambalo liko level kabisa, ndio tunaweka chini kwa ajili ya msingi. Baada ya kutengeneza kona, inachofuatia unapanga matofali kwenye line. Tumemaliza kutengeneza ukuta wa ndani, lakini sababu matofali haya yanatengenezwa yanakuwa hayana usawa, kwa hiyo wakati unapanga utaona kuna nafasi inabakia kama hii hapa. Sasa hii nafasi hii tofali zima litaingia. Sasa hapa ndio ule muda wa panga unapotumika. Kwanza unakata kipande cha tofali unakijaza hapa. Wakati wa kujenga ukuta wa ndani au wa nje, hakikisha nafasi isiwe kwenye. Hii itasaidia friji lako lisianguke. Kwa hiyo tunaweka nafasi. Hii nafasi hapa itakiwi. Kwa hiyo inatakiwa nafasi iwe angalau katikati, kutengeneza kuwe kuna nguvu zaidi ya hii friji lako lisiweze kuanguka. Hakikisha unaziba mapengo kwenye laini ya ndani na nje, usiache mapengo. Tumemaliza kujenga ukuta wa ndani.